What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I just want to get straight into it. I've seen the lowest of the lows, and now I'm experiencing the highest of the highs. And I'm only 26 years old, experiencing what it's like to be around and listen to this, be around people who think that just $100,000 is normal in a month, sometimes in a day. Luckily, I'm around people who the objective is even to earn six figures in one day. And this is coming from someone who, back in the day, was collecting quarters, nickels, dimes off the floor just so I can ride the train. $3 was almost impossible for me to collect. And now my mind has expanded to truly step into a reality where I can say earning $100,000 in a day is now a goal. A goal that's not impossible, but a goal that's just right there, waiting for me to go at it and reach it. I'm not here to motivate you, to inspire you. I'll do that in plenty of other videos, but today I want to go straight to the truth. And the truth is that the only thing I've seen get me closer to this goal, get me closer to reaching what I believe is heaven on earth, is God Himself. I used to be an atheist back in the day, and my belief in God was at zero. I used to think that whoever thought in God or believed in God was an idiot and was lost and was easy manipulated. That's truly what I believed. But over time, until this day, right now, in this very moment, I can put my hand in the air and say, I've given up my life to God. I've given up my ways of thinking. I've given up what my flesh desires. I've given up to think that I'm in control of my life. Because that's the thing with all of us. We're always in search for this thing outside. We're always in search for the next money. We're always in search for the relationship, for the love, for the validation, for the fitness. We're always doing something outside to get somewhere. And when we get somewhere, when we get that money, when we get the person, when we get the physique, it's still not enough. First, it starts with a little bit of drug. Now you need to dose up your drug. First, it starts with I'd be happy when I make this amount of money. Now you see yourself wanting even more money. I'd be happy when I get this physique. Now you're facing body dysmorphia, saying my physique is not enough when you're at the physique you always wanted. We are never satisfied. And then now it gets to a point where I realize that why are we always chasing something when the chase will never end? Why do we invest so much time into things that can be easily taken from us at any second? You can lose your partner, you can lose your money, you can lose your physique. So why do we invest our time into things that are temporary, that can be taken away from us, and at the end of the day, that throughout our entire lives, we stay chasing? As I've gotten older and I've grown into communities and I've met people from all over the world, entrepreneurs who are successful, who, when they tell me the amount they make, it ranges from $30,000 per month to even up to $280,000 per month. And I know these people. And I'm here to tell you that it's not enough. I'm here to tell you that when you hear that number, you'd believe all your problems will be gone. And that's not the case. The case is that the only thing that will help you and will allow you to step into peace, joy, and relaxation in life is to give up your desires. Ask yourself right now, do you think about the future? Do you think about this future where life will be better? Do you think about what's next? Do you think about who you'll meet? Do you think about the opportunities and all the things you ever want? And if you answered yes to any of those things, then you are not living in the present moment. And you are a victim to an illusion that one day out there, you will be able to finally be happy. It's very interesting that when I tell people you can't think about the future or you should stop thinking, they go mad. They somehow glitch. They somehow get stuck. Their mind can't comprehend how, if you stop thinking, how will you live? How will you know what to do next? And that's my point here. Can you let go of your thinking? Because think about this. Think about it. You cannot think about a future or you cannot think back to your past if you don't think. So if there is no future and there is no past, where are you living? In the present moment, in the now, the only reality. Do you understand that this is the only reality? Do you understand that God is in the now? Because when you're thinking about the future or the past, you're trying to predict something. You're trying to predict every step. You're trying to force things to go your way. And I'm here to tell you that if you are doing everything yourself, if you are forcing everything, if you are predicting every step and every way of success and love and abundance and wealth in your life, then why would God step into your life? What space are you giving God to operate in your life if you're the one doing everything? And that was me at one point. I was forcing everything. I was sending out hundreds of emails. I was cold calling. I was going on dating apps and searching up the greatest pickup lines. I was using AI at one point to help me understand, if I can say this, if I should say this, what does it mean if they say. Imagine a life where you are overthinking everything. Why? Because you're relying on yourself. And this is what I call the ego. Your ego wants to control, predict, and stay stuck in patterns and cycles. Why does it choose to stay stuck in cycles and patterns? Because the brain, the mind, it wants to be able to predict the same outcomes, the same emotions, the same results. Why? Because predictable means safe. So it's not that it's doing a bad thing, but what if you've programmed and conditioned yourself to have a predictable outcome and results of poverty, of ill health, of bad relationships, of a bad eating habit, of a bad addiction? Do you see how it's not really your fault? It's just at one point you accepted that as the familiar, as the known, as the predictable. So now because you accepted that as true, as your way, as your path, as your reality, now your ego says, hey, that's the one life I know. Let's keep producing this over and over and over. Because if I feel something different, if I think something different, if I get different results, then that's all in the territory of the unknown, of the unpredictable. And the brain says, and the mind says, and the ego specifically says, that's painful, that's scary. Let's run away from that and let's go back to the old. So the new can be wealth. It can be a great relationship. It can be making money. It can be being the best physique, having good habits, letting go of drugs and feeling joy of life. But the ego says, oh no, those emotions are new. Let me go back to my past emotions. Even if I felt shame, guilt, prideful, anger, depression, At least it's predictable, so let's go feel those emotions. Maybe the new thoughts is I love life. I trust people. I am an abundant person who deserves wealth. The ego says, no, 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 no. That is very weird to think. I'm so used to thinking people are envious. The people in this world are evil. This world has something against me. God is not there. So you go back to those old thinking patterns. Oh, no, no, no. Making money. Ah, man. Making $10,000 in a month? Oh, no, 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 no. I'm so used to making $500 a month. So let me stop doing what took me to $10,000 per month and let me continue doing what makes me $500 a month because I'm just so used to earning so little that it's predictable. And yeah, sure, $500 makes me feel stressed and makes me feel anxious, but at least I know that's what I expect. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what your ego is doing in your life right now. And until you can break free from that ego, you will not be able to experience a new life. My ego kept me stuck. It kept me watching porn, smoking weed daily, drinking alcohol every weekend, just staying stuck at $0 per month, being unfit and eating the worst kinds of food, hating the world, feeling so much hate towards myself. That was my belief system. That's how I felt every day, just shameful and embarrassed and felt unworthy of anything, unworthy of love and full of anger. That's how I emotionally was programmed. And my habits. Oh man, can I start with my habits? Not working out, not taking steps, not taking risks. And that was my entire identity. And that identity, that person who I saw in the mirror, my ego knew exactly how to replicate the program, how to replicate the steps to keep me stuck at that level of an identity. Ladies and gentlemen, once you can overcome your ego, what happens if there's no predictable route? What happens if there's no predictable belief and stories? What if the actions are no longer tying you down? What if you break free from all your patterns and cycles? You become free. You give space for the new. You give space for the new stories, the new thoughts. You give space for the new feelings and emotions. You give space for the new actions. You give space to a whole new identity, and that identity is what creates the reality you see. Because that identity are just assumptions of yourself. Everything you assume to be true comes from within. There's no assumption without. So the cause, what causes the effects that you see outside, the material world, the external world, the results you see, all stem from the cause within you, which is your belief of yourself, of your results, of your life, of your reality. You, with your imagination that you use within, create all results you see outside. Your relationship, your money, your physique, your thoughts, your emotions, your action, your habits, your identity, all comes from within. Now, you may be wondering, okay, you got me. How do I break free from that, Caesar? How can I let go of my ego? I'm here to tell you that you must surrender your life to God. You must surrender and say, it's okay if I give up my life for God. Can you trust that something besides your ego, which is God, can guarantee your life? Like the bird who somehow, some way just finds food and a home and finds a partner to mate with, such as the flowers, the rose, that gets sunlight and rain and gets nourished so it can grow to be beautiful without a gardener. If the bird and the rose can be taken care by Mother Nature, God, why can't God's greatest creation, you, yourself, with the kingdom of heaven within you, why can't you be taken care of just like everything around us gets taken care of? And the thing is, the rose, the bird doesn't have an ego. It doesn't have a history. It doesn't have an identity. It just is. It lives with an assumption that it's taken care of. and so should you. And the way you surrender is you stop thinking about the future. You stop thinking about who you were in the past. You start sitting with the emotions, the feelings that you get on the daily, the emotions of fear about what's going to happen. Sit with those emotions. Because the moment you don't react to your emotion, you no longer fuel and give life to those emotions. The emotion of fear creates a fearful action, fearful decisions, fearful results. So you have to remove the emotion in order to get a different action, a different result, a different decision. And the only way you remove the emotion is that once that fearful, anxiety, worry, doubtful emotion kicks in, you can sit with it and understand and believe and trust that God will take care of that negative charge, that negative emotion for you. And when you can sit with that emotion, you become free, because now you no longer follow a program. You no longer take automatic decisions. You no longer go ahead and prove through actions the the fear, the doubt, the worry, because that's what you do every day. Every day you take action to prove the stories and emotions you tell yourself on the daily. So what happens if there is no stories or thoughts or emotions of a bad life? Your body doesn't go out to prove it all right. And what happens if you replace all those negative emotions, negative thoughts with positive emotions, positive thoughts, positive stories, a new identity? Your body goes out there and goes and proves to you all those good stories and good emotions right. This is just simply an intro, but I hope that you found something here. Surrender your life to God and you will break free from your patterns.